Alright guys, today we're talking about daily habits in English, and trust me, this is about to be the most chaotic lesson about habits you've ever heard in your entire life. Like, imagine if you opened a normal English podcast and the host was calm and polite and said something like, "Hello, today we will learn about daily routines." And then, boom, I kicked the door in with 3 cameras, a guy in a dinosaur costume, and someone holding a giant sign that says, "Wake up and speak English or else." That's basically the vibe today. And yes, I know it sounds insane, but welcome to the most unnecessarily intense English lesson of all time. So yeah, sit down, grab your water, or your tea, or your weird energy drink that probably shouldn't be legal, and let's talk about how to describe your daily habits in English. Because honestly, if you can't explain your daily habits, you're basically living like an NPC. Like, imagine someone asks you, "What do you do every day?" And you're just like, stuff? Bro, what? No, we're fixing that today. So let me tell you something right off the bat. One of the most important phrases when you talk about your daily habits is I usually wake up at 7 a.m., or I usually eat breakfast, or I usually forget I have responsibilities and scroll TikTok for 45 minutes like a smooth-brained goldfish. It's a super useful phrase. And yes, I know you probably don't wake up at 7 a.m. because I don't either. Let's be real. When I say I wake up at 7 a.m., what I actually mean is I wake up at 7, look at my phone, think about the meaning of life, panic internally about my obligations, then fall asleep again until 9 a.m. That's my true morning routine. But in English, we say, I usually wake up at 7. Because it sounds responsible. And here's the thing, when you're learning English, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to sound like you're trying. Like, if someone asks me, "Jimmy, how often do you exercise?" I'm not going to say, "Well, statistically, I exercise 3 times a week." No. I'm going to say something like, I try to work out every day, but sometimes life is life and pizza exists. That's real. That's relatable. And that's how real people talk. None of that textbook robot voice stuff like, "I exercise regularly." Bro, no one talks like that except maybe robots or super serious gym influencers who eat boiled chicken as a lifestyle. Okay, let's go back to the structure. The main verbs for daily habits are super simple. Wake up, get up, eat, drink, take a shower, brush my teeth, go to work, go to school, study, relax, go to bed, boom. Those are your basic Pokemon starter pack verbs. Once you learn these, you can build literally any daily routine sentence ever. And trust me, the more natural you sound, the better. So instead of saying, "I awaken at 6, bro, what are you, a wizard? Just say, "I wake up at 6. And if you want to sound even more natural and slightly chaotic like an actual human being, you can add filler words like, "I wake up at 6, or I kind of wake up at 6, or I wake up at 6, I guess." Boom. Human unlocked. Now let me tell you my personal favorite daily habit phrase. This phrase is perfect for everything in your life that you wish you did, but you don't actually do. I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to sleep earlier. I'm trying to read more. I'm trying to stop buying random stuff on Amazon at 2 in the morning, even though I definitely don't. Need a glow-in-the-dark toothbrush holder shaped like a llama. Yeah, that phrase fixes everything. So anyway, let's run through a typical daily routine, but in the most Mr. Beast energy way possible. Imagine I'm narrating this while someone is offering me $10,000 if I can describe my morning routine without saying, spoiler, I lose instantly. So here we go. Every day I wake up at around 8 a.m. or 9. Honestly, it depends on whether or not I've decided to be a responsible adult or a sleepy potato. Usually my alarm rings at 7 a.m. and I'm like, "Bro, not today." And then I hit snooze 3 times, sometimes 5. Don't judge me. Then you say I get up and stretch a little. Which is a lie because most of us just roll out of bed like a dying seal. But hey, English is partly about sounding put together. So we say stuff like, I get up, I open the curtains, I brush my teeth, but in reality we are on autopilot like robots who haven't received a software update since 2018. Then you can say, I have breakfast. Breakfast is easy. You can say, I usually have eggs, or usually have coffee, or usually have regrets about not waking up earlier. Totally fine. Very natural. And then you talk about going to work or school. Like, I go to work at 9, or I go to school in the morning, or I pretend to be productive for 8 hours and then wonder where my life went. Boom! Realistic, relatable English. Here's something funny though. When people learn English, they forget that normal speech is messy. So you can and should use little natural things like, kinda, sorta. Basically, these are filler words. They're super common in daily speech. And Mr. Beast uses them all the time. Like, have you ever watched one of my videos? It's literally, alright guys, today we're giving away an island. And it's kinda crazy, but we're doing it anyway. That rhythm is exactly how real English flows. So when you talk about your daily habits, say stuff like, I usually check my phone in the morning, or I kinda eat breakfast around 10, or I basically survive the day with caffeine. That's natural. That's not textbook English. That's living, breathing English. And here's another thing. When you describe habits, you can talk about how often you do things using phrases like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Like, I always drink coffee. Or I sometimes take a nap. Or I never wake up early because I value happiness. These little words change everything. Let me tell you a small story. One time, I tried to become a morning person. I was like, alright guys, tomorrow I'm waking up at 5 a.m., I'm going to meditate, I'm going to run 10 miles, I'm going to become a superhuman or whatever. And then I woke up the next day at 11:47 a.m. because my alarm was across the room. And I literally pretended it didn't exist. That's why we use phrases like I try to wake up early, not I wake up early, because we're honest. And English allows that. Also, if you want to sound extremely natural, use the phrase first thing in the morning. I drink water. It doesn't matter if the actual first thing you do is stare at the ceiling wondering why you're alive. It still sounds cool. Then maybe you say, after that, I take a shower. Good, normal. Human, easy English. Then you can talk about lunch. I have lunch. I eat lunch around 1. I grab something quick. Boom. Then you talk about work or school tasks. I study. I work. I answer emails. Or if you want the chaos version, I answer emails like a man who just discovered fire and Wi-Fi at the same time. Then you can talk about afternoon habits. I take a break. I relax, I go outside, I walk a little, or you can say something like, I try to take a break, but then I remember I have 47 tasks left and I emotionally evaporate. Dinner is the easy part. I have dinner at 7, I cook dinner, I order food because cooking is hard. And then the evening routine. I relax, I watch YouTube, I hang out with friends, I play games, and if you want maximum honesty, I tell myself I'm going to bed early and then I stay up scrolling until midnight. When you go to bed, just say, I go to bed at whatever time, even if it's a lie. English doesn't judge. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When people talk about habits, they often use the phrase, I like to read in the evening, or I like to listen to music, or I like to pretend I'm organizing my life when I'm actually just making unnecessary lists. And another super helpful daily routine phrase is I need to drink more water. I need to exercise. I need to stop buying snacks. Very useful. Let me share something. When we film challenges, we stay awake for 40 hours straight sometimes. Do not do that. But we always say stuff like, man, I need to sleep, or I need to eat something, or I need to stop agreeing to these insane challenges. That phrase works in every life situation, including English learning. And since this is for beginners, let me throw in something important. Don't try to use too many fancy words. Just keep your sentences simple. Simple English is not weak English. Simple English is powerful English. If you say, I wake up, I eat, I work, I relax, amazing, clear, done. One more thing, if you want to talk about habits you hate, just say, I always do this, but I hate it. Like, I always wake up late, but I hate it. I always forget my keys, but I hate it. Boom. Honest. Natural. Perfect. And by the way, make mistakes. Please, make them proudly. When I started making videos, everything I did was messy. Too loud, too crazy, too weird, but I kept going. And look how it turned out. English learning works the same way. Just talk. Don't freeze. Don't overthink. Don't wait for perfect grammar. You learn by doing, you learn by trying. You learn by messing up. So yeah, that's basically the whole idea of talking about daily habits in English. Just describe what you do, when you do it, how often you do it, and how you feel about it. And if you want to sound like a real human being and not like a textbook ghost, throw in some filler words, little emotions, and tiny jokes about your life. Humans love that. English loves that. And I guess the last thing I'll say is this. If you practice these phrases every day, even for just a few minutes, your English will level up faster than someone getting $10,000 for remembering the alphabet backward. Not that I'm saying I'll do that challenge. Actually, I might. That sounds kind of fun. But anyway, talk about your habits. Speak them out loud. Make it messy. Make it real. That's how you grow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Daily habits. English, chaos. Mr. Beast energy. You got this. Keep going.